Let's get ready to rumble! WWH, as in hockey, the Flyers and Leafs go Rudy Poo style in game number 2. Stoned by Marty Brodeur in game 1, Glenn Murray gives the Bruins a backhanded compliment in a rough game 2 in Jersey. The champs dominate, but get dominated by Jiggy. We break down the Red Wings, Ducks, and Canucks Blues.
We just didn't even deserve to be in the same league, let alone the same rink.
And the Edmonton Oilers can taste a 2-0 series lead in Dallas. NHL tonight, now. Night 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the books. Alongside
Best night too.
EJ the Magazine, EJ Hardek, and Barry Melrose. I'm John Buccigross. You're right. 3 sold-out barns.
Awesome
Well, it's
night.
Friday night. People are lathered up.
Hockey fans go out every night, not just Friday
The
night.
work week is over. Time to let it loose, and that they did. Flyer goalie Roman Cechmanek said that many Flyer players were nervous before Game 1 against Toronto. Jeremy Roenick admits he was one of them. Quote, "I am very anxious for the series," Roenick said. "I really want to win this real bad. Monday and Tuesday, I was a nervous wreck in anticipation of the series starting and waiting all year for it," end quote. A jittery Flyer gang lost Game 1 despite outshooting Toronto 31-15. Game 2, and Barry, I love the pregame jocularity.
Right here you see Brashear, you see Domi. Unbelievable, the excitement in the building. Everyone's watching the pregame skate. Domi sending a couple messages. Brashear lets him know he's going to be available.
And early on, some discipline issues for Toronto. So can the Flyers take advantage on the power play? Not here. Leafs kill the penalty. Then another penalty. Sundin cross-checks Primo. So the Flyers, another chance. Don't forget they're 3-12 in their last 15 playoff games entering this one. Flyers 0 for 2 on the power play. Then they go shorthanded. Williams cross-check on Roberts. And wouldn't you know it, Barry, an ensuing Leaf power play. Here comes Simone Gagne. He will follow up and make it 1-0. EJ Hardek, can this guy stay healthy for the playoffs?
Well, they better hope so. I mean, he's a great element when he's there. A lot of speed. Eddie kicks out a little bit of a rebound there, but Gagne drives hard to the net, gets the goal.
He's been battling, of course, that groin injury. He played 12 minutes, 57 seconds. Later, Gagne, again, that speed around McCabe. McCabe and Housley had an awful game. Flyers outshoot Toronto 15-5 in the first. Lead 2-0. Roenick the goal. Alex the Great has been great. 4th goal in 2 games. Leafs down 2-1. Cechmanek, don't forget, 3-8 all time in the playoffs.
Plays it very poorly. The goalie's supposed to come across without turning his back on the play. Cechmanek turned a complete circle.
Driver 8, take a break. That might have been Johnny Vermont's goal, but Recchi will get it. Makes it 3-1, EJ.
Well, I mean, this is where the game was played all night to me. Every time I looked, I saw a crowd in front of Belfour. When you got people there, bad things happen to your team.
That's probably Recchi's goal. Later in the second, Flyer power play, Leclerc. This one's Johnny. Didn't see it go in, but it's good. Philly outshoots Toronto 16-5 in the second, up 4-1. Barry, let's get
rid of the goals and stuff. Let's get to see what all the people in Philadelphia wanted to see. And that's Brashear and Domi. They were yelling at Domi all night long from the warm-up on. This guy is a warrior. He's very much smaller than Brashear, but he went toe-to-toe. And I give the bout split decision, but I give it to Domi.
What Chris Martin is to Coldplay.
He's not done yet. You went down. You went down.
What Chris Martin is to Coldplay, Ken Hitchcock is to the Flyers. His championship defensive coaching has the Flyers outshooting Toronto 67-32 in the series. John LeClair snaps a 10-game playoff goal drought. Simone Gagne snaps an 8-game playoff drought. Mark Recchi a 7-game postseason goalless streak. Johnny Vermont, you have tied the series at 1.
We wanted to be a little hungry around the net. That was one of our keys tonight. Try to find those pucks in front of the net and bang them home.
We were hungry on the puck. We were relentless on the puck tonight, and we created a lot of turnovers. So we were workhorses today. That was just the difference.
Tonight we had every guy on board, and like I said, we're going to have the same effort from every guy every night the rest of the way in order to win.
We were outplayed in the first game, I thought, and then tonight again, and we should be feel very lucky to go home with the split, and now we have to play better at home.
Barry, you harp on physical battles. It's 2 words you say a lot here, and McCabe and Housley were a -3. Break down some of the physical battles in this game. Who won them?
Well, Philly is a huge team, and if you're not ready to go to war against Philadelphia Flyers, you're going to have a tough night, and Toronto was not ready to go to war against Philadelphia Flyers. Housley's game is all about offense and moving the puck and being a great skater. When he has to win physical battles, that's a tough job for the veteran. Right here, it's him on Gagne. Gagne has the puck, there's no problem. Now, Housley's job is to take Gagne. You do not let the man go by you there and get the rebound. Mistake Jake Housley. He's got to do a better job. Now let's look in front of the Toronto net in the next goal. Right here you see Healy. He's right there with his man. Everything's there. He goes and changes on Johnny Leclerc, which is a good change, but he's not strong on his stick, and Leclerc wins the physical battle and gets a goal. A little bit later, McCabe, the most physical of all Toronto defensemen, gets ate up by Johnny Leclerc. Those goals cannot happen, and EJ was right. The game took place in front of Eddie Belfour, and Philadelphia won all the battles in front of Eddie Belfour. So I think that's one of the things that has to change for Game 3 and Game 4.
Game 3 is Monday night in Toronto on ESPN. While the Blackhawks' Theo Fleury has been determined by the National Hockey League to be in Stage 3 of its substance abuse policy, meaning that as of Friday, he is suspended for 6 months. After 6 months, Fleury can apply for reinstatement, but it is up to the league in consultation with its doctors as to whether he is reinstated or not. He'll be 35 in June, just 36 goals in his last 136 games. EJ, what's his future? First of all, in Chicago, he has one more year left on his contract.
Well, it looks like Johnny's going to be bought out at some point there. I mean, everybody's talked about the fact that, you know, Chicago would like to get out or out from under that $4 million next year. So that could be a big nightmare there. But, you know, let's face it, the guy's skills are kind of waning now. You know, $4 million is a lot to play somebody. I think it was probably a bad idea to sign him for that much money in the first place. They didn't do their due diligence and find out, you know, where this guy was. And he had some problems, you know, obviously during the beginning of the season. He had more problems again later in the season. You know, who knows what's going to happen to Theo Fleury right now. I mean, do you see this guy getting another chance, Barry?
Look, I love Theo Fleury, and I know what he's been through, and I know his background. I've known him since he's been 14 years old. But the bottom line is it's time for Theo Fleury to take care of this problem. And what we hope and what we care about and what we think doesn't matter until Theo decides that enough is enough. I've hit rock bottom, and we've heard this rock bottom from Theo 3 or 4 times before. Yeah. I've hit rock bottom. I'm going to change. I've hit rock bottom. I'm going to change. Until he finally does it, I think it's up to him to change. I think the NHL has bent over backwards. I think the Chicago Blackhawks have bent over backwards. It's time for him to change. But I think if he does change, another team will give him one more chance.
You know, Bill Ward's always complaining about money. What about giving $9 million to Theo Fleury? See if he complains about that. Game 2, Bruins and Devils. That's coming up also. Another game to go, including the only favorite seed-wise to win their Game 1, New Jersey.
Turnover in front court was tied up. Backhander in front, score! Murray on the backhander!
Daryl Sador, a terrific play to Scott Young. This is a pass all the way. Young's able to tip it past Tommy Salo.
Let's say this is you, and this is your auto insurance company. You've always gotten along okay, but let's say this is Allstate. Ooh, looks better than what you got now, huh? Well, qualified drivers who call Allstate for a free auto quote can get a company this good for this kind of price, maybe less. The choice is pretty simple, don't you think? So call Allstate now for an auto quote and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing? You want to grab some dinner?
Oh, it's you. You don't call for ages, and I'm just supposed to say, hi, great, dinner, fine.
No, yeah, but
nothing. Did you hibernate or something?
Whoa.
Hey, you're around.
Shh. Yeah.
Look up, see blue. Labatt Blue.
You must be so hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're gonna love this new quick rent at National Car Rental.
When you get to the airport, they let you choose your own car.
Whatever make and model you want.
Whatever color you want.
You can walk right past the counter.
And you don't stand in any lines.
All you need is a major credit card and access to the internet. You rent online at nationalcar.com.
They ought to call it quick and easy.
Bypass the counter.
You don't have to stand in line.
Choose your own car.
Click, click, click on the computer.
It's all about me, Rent. Huh?
Choose the rental car company that lets you choose your own car. Quick rent at nationalcar.com.
Baseball tonight, all season long on ESPN and ESPN2.
Access the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Max, you're killing me. Hey, everybody jamming. Hey, man. She jamming? They jamming too. Can a brother get a Bud Light, man?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
One, Barry.
Best line in the playoffs of any team in the NHL. Nieuwendyk cycles a puck down low here, which is a great move. Langenbrunner, who's on fire, gets a puck. Now, Friesen's job is to get into a hole. He can't stand with a man between him and the pass. 2 steps to the left, one-time shot, great goal.
John Madden, boom, right there. Ryan Rafalski played 25 minutes and 21 seconds to lead New Jersey, and he gives them a 2-1 lead. Then, let me hear your body talk. Ralston goes to the net, shoved by Brodeur, Axelson and Whiteberry. Boy, this is your kind of night.
Well, Lapointe went down badly on his knee. I hope he's not hurt. But right here, PJ is a pest. He's not a real tough guy. He's not like Domi and Brashear, but he's got guts, and he stood toe-to-toe with White there.
Looks like Daniel Alfredson. Dan McGillis ties the game at 2. Now, a power play for the Devils. It's been a problem for them. Jamie Langenbrunner, one time from Niedermeyer, EJ, on a sellout crowd in Jersey. That's rare.
That is rare, I'll tell you, and it's almost as rare as a power play goal for the Devils, and they got 2 of them tonight. That's why you win games from power play goals.
Weird, wacky stuff. Look at that save by Brodeur. First on Samsonov, then on McInnes.
Puck is laying there. Watch, it hits actually a New Jersey defenseman's foot.
Rafalski
leaves the crease.
What a game for Rafalski. Later, look at that pass from Langenbrunner. Nieuwendyk! That is some talent.
What a pass by Langenbrunner. Exactly right. A saucy pass right on the tape.
Nieuwendyk wins 56% of his faceoffs. Devils lead the series 2-0. They held the Bruins to 5 shots on goal in the third. Devils have never lost a series when they've led 2-0. 5 points in the series for Langenbrunner. Ken Danico has played in every New Jersey Devil game in the playoffs ever played. 164 straight. Game 3, Sunday afternoon on ESPN. Martin Brodeur and the Devils 2 wins away from eliminating the Bruins.
Going into Boston, we're going to expect probably even a lot more physical play. So it was going to be interesting to see how we respond on the road. We've been good all year on the road, but last time we played over there, we didn't do so well. So, you know, we're looking forward to the challenge.
They have some tough guys over there, and they're going to play hard. You know that. And so you got to, you know, match them hit for hit and play for play. And so far, we've been able to do that.
Bruins have lost all 24 times. They have trailed a best-of-7 series 2-0. Imagine that.
That is
That's
a lot.
something.
You'd have thought they'd come back at least once. They had some great teams, too, in those years.
Sabres are the only other club with double-digit series losses and no victories under these circumstances. On the flip side, the Devils, again, have closed out all 6 series after having a 2-0 advantage. Bill Guerin said he is not sure if he will travel with the team to Edmonton for games 3 and 4 of the Stars' first-round playoff series, which leads to speculation that Guerin will not play in at least the first round. I am making progress, Guerin says. It's just day by day. Game 2 of the Stars-Oilers best-of-7 series with the Oilers up 1-0. 21 times in the past 29 playoff games between the Stars and Oilers, the game has been decided by 1 goal, including 8 of the past 9. Would that be one of those games? There's Marty Turco. It would not be a busy night for him at all. First period, Kirk Muller, a little bump into the goalie. He gets a penalty. He doesn't like it. That's twice. Ensuing Oiler power play.
Unless he wants 2 of something.
Maybe Marty Reisner banks it off the right pad of Marty Turco.
Didn't start great for Marty Turco. He came across. He didn't get over to the post protected. Soft goal. We'll see how he responds.
Stars on the power play. Ethan Moreau bumps into Turco. That's a penalty. Craig McTavish, you're not happy. What about Ray Ferraro's thoughts?
See, I don't like this penalty. The goaltender's 40 feet out of the net. Morrow has to go somewhere. He's reaching for the puck.
That is not a good call.
Goaltenders are too protected.
So 5-on-3 power play for Dallas. Sergei Zubov, twisted wrist. First of the playoffs, 1-1, and now Craig Mack's really not happy about it, Barry.
Well, he's got some reason to be, but also his team did a lot of stupid things tonight. They weren't very disciplined. Right here you see Comrie definitely got a hold on the Dallas player. Should be called. A little bit later, definite hook on Robbie DeMaio should be called. Right here, that is unbelievable. That's right in the slot, right in front of the referees. Edmonton was not a smart club tonight at all.
Well, that guy's a smart player. Scott Young, EJ Hradek. Versatile guy, can score goals for you. And with Guerin out, you know, you needed Young to come up with some big goals. He got 2 tonight, the redirect, and then that blistering one-timer there. Good night for Scott Young.
That's a good point. Third period, more Stars. Brendan Mora was sensational all night long. Michael Modano, that rang off the right post. 5-1 Dallas. Then things get ugly. Corey Cross little punch. They called that a cross check, but that wasn't a cross check. It was a left hook jab. And then here we go, Barry.
For old-time hockey here, the game's out of hand. Edmonton's sending a message. They're letting the Dallas Stars know that they're going to be ready for Game 3. Dallas Stars is letting Edmonton know that they'll be there for the Edmonton Oilers in Game 3.
All right, Marty Turco, 12 saves. He only saw 13 shots in this one. This is the first time Edmonton has allowed at least 6 goals in the playoff game since May 6, 1992. Edmonton had 13 shots on goal. Scott Young had 8. Including 2 goals and 1 interview with Dave Strader and Ray Ferraro.
Dallas Stars with a dominating win in Game 2 to even up this series, joined by Scott Young, who had a couple of goals. And let's go back to the beginning of this game, because there was some talk by some of your guys, including your captain, Darian Hatcher, Scott, who felt there wasn't enough intensity in Game 1. You guys certainly came out with a different outlook here in Game 2.
Yeah, we didn't play near as intense as we wanted to in that first game, especially here at home, and it's the start of the playoffs, so it was a disappointing start, but we came out in the first period. We were ready. We were really focused tonight and very determined that we had to win this game, because it would have been really tough if we went down 2-0.
Scotty, as a veteran, you know, you're one of the guys that has to step up. You scored 2 goals in the first period, one of them off a terrific pass from Daryl Sador, the other off a great play from Brendan Morrow. Can you walk us through your goals a little bit?
Yeah, the first one, you know, I stayed in the slot there a little bit and just tried to stay patient. And, you know, Sid made a great, you know, shot pass to me, and I just redirected it and went, I think it went between his legs. And the next play, I just got the puck off quick. You know, Brendan Morrow gave me a nice pass and just tried to get it off as quick as possible.
Scott, as things started to deteriorate, you know, we're talking about how we're trying to fill in up here in the booth and what to talk about, but you're trying to focus on continuing to play, and there you are up there on the power play looking for the hat trick, and you got Georges Laraque out there as a penalty killer. That's got to be a little bit difficult to focus.
Yeah, I was fully aware that Georges Laraque was on the ice. You know, it wasn't so much that I was even looking for the hat trick. It was that we didn't have any defensemen left, so I had to go out there, and we had 1 D left on the bench, so they wanted me to kill some time on the power play the point. And just kind of until we got some D back. So, yeah, I was definitely aware George was there. I knew he was going to take a run at me when that puck came around the boards.
Scotty, Marty Turco, a lot was made. He struggled in Game 1. He didn't have a lot to do in Game 2 here tonight, but he made some good saves. You talk about how confident he is in the room. I've seen him on the ice and, you know, playing against him. I'm amazed that nothing seems to bother him.
Yeah, his attitude's great. And, you know, as players, we have absolutely no worries about him. I don't know, there's some talk about Game 1, and I don't know why. You know, we gave up 2 goals, just didn't play very well, and, you know, no worries about Marty at all. I know it's his first playoffs, but his demeanor and his, you know, mentality off the ice, he's pretty laid back. He's not going to let the pressure get to him, and he's a very focused guy, and he's aggressive on the ice, and he helps us out so much the way he plays the puck. Even if he's not making, you know, big saves because he doesn't have to, he's playing the puck and helping our breakout.
Well, Scott, we appreciate you stopping by. Congratulations on the 2-goal and the victory here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Dallas Stars with a big win. They even the series against the Edmonton Oilers at a game apiece. Let's send it back to the studio.
I'm fully aware Georges Laraque's on the planet. I'm always ready for him. Quote, "We needed to win that game," defenseman Keith Carney said. The way Jigger played, we had to win that game for him. Anaheim's Game 1 triple overtime win over the Red Wings is the game of the playoffs so far, as J.S. Giguère made 63 saves. Giguère had to be hooked up to an IV after the game. Brendan Shanahan scored on the Wings' 4th shot on a power play, 4:15 in. Jiggy then made 60 straight saves. The Wings lose home ice and their first playoff game ever to Anaheim, but it is just 1 game.
Well, it was an interesting game in that I mean, the period after period after period, and all of a sudden there'd be a flurry of shots or saves or a breakaway, and as it turned out, it was a traditional goal that won the hockey game, a face-off, point shot, find a rebound, and a goal. So, you know, that happens.
That's sports. That's what makes sports great, and their goalie played a great game, and it's just one of those things. I think for us, we just got to go back and you know, we just got to regroup and keep going at the net. Keep putting the puck at the net. It's going to go in sooner or later.
So Jiggy sets the tone with 63 saves, NHL expansion-era record for a goalie making his first playoff start. The Wings, don't forget, the oldest club in the league with an average age of 31 years, 185 days. And Game 2 is an afternoon game on Saturday, and Fedorov and Hall were a bit quiet in the latter portions of the series opener. Red Wings outshot Anaheim 36-13 after regulation. Paul Kariya's game-winning goal scored after Steve Ruchin wins the faceoff.
Well, I think a couple things happened. Number one, in the old days, a goaltender, they always took fluids after a game too, but they weren't IVs. and number two, let's not analyze this series to death. The bottom line is Jaguar was unbelievable. He won the game for the Mighty Ducks. There's no doubt about it. This game could have been out very early in the first period. He was fantastic, but he has been all year. This is not a surprise. This guy's numbers are as good as any goalie in the NHL. He plays as much as anybody in the NHL. Obviously a great goaltender and got the job done. One of the differences of Ducks is they can score more, and Steve Ruchin's healthy. You see right there, he wins the draw on the goal that won the game by Paul Kariya. But he plays against Fedorov every shift. He played against him all game long. That is one of the reasons Fedorov isn't getting as much open ice he usually gets. Steve Ruchin, very underrated player on the Ducks, but let's give the credit where the credit is due, and that's the goaltender, Jaguar.
At Game 2, ABC, Saturday, we come back. Are the Vancouver Canucks still choking? We preview Game 2 against the St. Louis Blues. But first, tonight's question: who is the only active goaltender to post a shutout in his first career playoff start? Jiggy didn't quite get it, but he certainly spawned this question. Oh boy, the boys are pondering intently.
Hey, Smith, you get a raise?
No, I got an Optima.
Introducing the Kia Optima midsize sedan.
Smith got a raise and options.
With available V6.
VP?
10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Smith's taking over.
Smith. And a starting price around $16,000.
Watch your back, Smith.
Smith Worldwide.
It'll just look like you got a raise. The Kia Optima. Right now, get 0% financing or up to $3,000 cash back.
Drinks before lunch?
Water's fine for me.
Water for me too, but with lemon, please.
I'll have a Sam Adams, please.
Make that 2 Sam Adams. Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
In the old days, athlete's foot meant using Lotrimin AF or Tenactin for 4 whole weeks.
Who does that? Today, Lamisil AT kills the fungus with just 1 week's use.
And keeps you athlete's foot free for 3 months.
Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
Did you miss any of this year's NCAA games? Well, ESPN Classics got not 1, not 2, but 3 of the best from this year's tournament. And they're all instant classics, like Drew Nicholas's buzzer-beating three to win it for the Terps. Arizona hangs on against Gonzaga. Plus, this year's NCAA final between Syracuse and Kansas. It all adds up to a triple instant classic. Starts 5 p.m. Sunday, only on ESPN Classic. Get ESPN Classic. Call your cable or satellite provider now.
When you have credit card problems, it feels like you're surrounded by debt.
That's the time to call Debt Dynamics. I reduce my payments and have only one small monthly bill.
Debt Dynamics professional staff will analyze your situation and show you the best solution with nonprofit credit counseling or a home equity loan. Just call.
I thought my only way out was bankruptcy.
Call Debt Dynamics for the right solution.
We reduced our interest rates.
So now we can actually see our balances dropping.
Call Debt Dynamics today and free yourself from debt. Call this number now.
Discover the amazing training secrets of Baseball World's dynamic practice organization video, featuring professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and his famous step-by-step building block approach to athletic training. These are the same techniques that have produced Baseball World's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches are amazed at the rapid improvement of students using these principles, enhancing arm strength, running speed, quickness, and agility. Dynamic practice organization works for all ages and levels of ability and makes a great gift too. Order now.
Access the Stanley Cup playoffs. Islanders versus Senators and Blues versus Canucks. Will you be watching?
NHL tonight after Blues and Canucks. All right, boys, the question, what do you think?
I think it's Kolzig.
I'm going to say Cujo.
The guy just can't get any respect, whether it's on the ice.
We know who it is.
Whether it's tonight's question.
We know who it is.
That's good.
Chris Osgood, what does the guy got it done? Lucas Dimitra, 6 pounds, 19 inches, was born at 8:40 p.m. on Wednesday. His dad, Pavel Dimitra, flew 3,500 miles to Vancouver, back to St. Louis to see Pav Henry Jr. enter the world.
Bet you his arms were sore.
And then back to Vancouver, arriving 2 hours before the start of Game 1, which the Blues won 6-0 over Vancouver. Alexander Havanoff said, and Barry will like this quote, "It's a great thing for the organization to fly Dimitra home. In Russia, you would have learned your kid was born on the rink radio." What a country. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Canucks feel like they're 19 inches tall after getting spanked 6-0.
We got outplayed in absolutely every aspect of the game tonight, and you know, to coin a cliche, you know, we've lost a game, certainly, but you know, there's 3 other teams on our side that are in the same predicament as us, although I don't think any of them got drubbed like we did.
Well, we have to forget about this one. It was a tough one, and looking ahead now, I think it'll be a huge difference. If we just get a win here, I think everything's going to change.
Vancouver had 4 shots on goal in the first, 6 in the second. Their power play 0 for 7. St. Louis is 3 of 9.
Well, I really believe, and this is how Mark Crawford should handle it, is it's a lot easier coming back when you've got killed and you were terrible and you got beaten every aspect of the game than saying Vancouver played their best game of the year and they still got beat 2-1. Then what do you do as a coach? He can go in there, he can say, guys, we were terrible, we didn't work hard enough, we just got to come, throw that game out, we're not even going to look at the tape, and just start battling. A couple things that must change, though, is the discipline of the Vancouver Canucks. They took too many bad penalties. Bertuzzi took a bad penalty. Where does the puck end up? Stillman scores a power play goal. Right after that, Eddie Joe comes in, takes a bad penalty in front of the net. That also ends up in their net. Tkachuk ends up scoring a power play goal, so they're down 2-0. 2 bad penalties, 2 power play goals. St. Louis got an excellent power play, too many offensive weapons. And what made it even worse is Pronger's back in the penalty kill along with McGinnis. Barrett Jackman is a physical force back there. So not only did they score power play goals, they also killed penalties excellently. So I think those are great things that the St. Louis Blues are building on. From the choke comment, I think that can be fixed if you play better. But what do you think, EJ?
I don't know. I mean, I heard that choke comment on Sunday, and you know, they lost some sting. They lost the division title, but the playoffs are what matters. And, you know, just looking at him last night, it looks like everybody's trying too hard. Everybody's trying to carry the load there. I mean, as a coach, Barry, when you see that, I mean, what can you do? It seems like it's almost like something that's rolling downhill on this team now.
Well, they got to put a stop to it, and the way you put a stop to it is, #1, goaltending. And again, we've talked about this before. Kluche's not 100%, and I don't think he's close to being 100%. So is the goaltending good enough to stop a slide like this? And it's got to be leadership. Bertuzzi and Naslund carried this team all year long on their backs, offensively. Whenever they needed a goal, one of those 2 guys got it. Now, it's up to them. If you want to be a great player during the regular season, you got to be a better player during the playoffs.
All right, and again, that penalty killing is an issue against a great St. Louis Blue team. Yep. The 3rd worst since Christmas, since Matthias Olin has been out. They hope he's back for Game 2.
They need him back.
He's their second-best defenseman after Joe Vanowski. Okay, speaking of the Blues, Peter Senia is the Hobey Baker Award winner. First European to win the award. The Blues signed him. He played the last game of the regular season and scored a goal in Colorado. So Senia of Colorado College is the winner of the Hobey Baker Award. The Sharks have granted Teemu Selanne an extra 8 days to decide if he will return to the Sharks next season. He holds a $6.5 million option for next season, and his deal stated he had to make a decision within 7 days of the end of the season. But Friday, the team agreed to extend that. Meanwhile, house cleaning in Calgary as GM Craig Button is released and former player and current team executive Lenny McDonald also leaves the team. Head coach Daryl Sutter will assume the duties of GM for the club. And EJ, you first reported this on ESPN.com, the bottom line, ESPN News.
I get around.
Take us through this and what's your general feeling about what happened in Calgary?
Well, I think, John, really what happened was you had a guy in Ken King who was the president of the team there. Craig Button wasn't his guy. He didn't hire him. He wanted to get rid of him, so he got rid of him. He's got Daryl Sutter there, who's a popular figure in that area. Saves some money also because you get rid of one salary. Now Daryl will get both jobs, probably won't get much more money for doing it. And really, I just think it's a case where Ken King wanted Craig Button out of the way. Last time I looked at the Stanley Cup, though, I saw Craig Button's name on it. I haven't found Ken King's name on it yet. I'm still looking.
What about being a GM and a coach? Of course, Pat Quinn's the only guy who's officially that, but we've seen someone like Doug McClain in Columbus who fired his coach and did both. You did both in the American League?
Yeah, and it's tough in the American League. And Pat Quinn has Bill Waters, a guy that has been a GM, and he does most of the contracts. And as a GM, the contracts are everything. That takes 90% of your time. Basically, a GM isn't even a hockey position anymore. It's a business decision. And that's one of the problems with hockey today. Most teams are going to a business guy strictly doing contracts and the GM becoming more of a hockey guy. Really, in today's game, a coach doesn't have enough time to coach the team with all that's going on, handling the press, the video work that's curtailed, the travel arrangements that must be made to get your team to the games and back, and resting when you should and where you should, the practice facility, things like that. I really don't think anybody can do either job justice. And right now, being on the ice and making the playoffs is much more important for the Calgary Flames than anything else. That is what has to happen, getting that team on the ice straightened out.
And of course, the GM job is so important. I mean, this is the guy that has the vision for the franchise.
Or lack of vision.
Right. We see teams like Chicago and Boston who have had very little vision. Look where their teams are now, relatively. Other jobs out there as teams look for this very important position of GM.
Well, the San Jose Sharks, John, are still interviewing people. We've seen a lot of, different names pop up. We've seen Neil Smith's name pop up, the former Ranger general manager. Dave Nona is an assistant to Brian Burke in Vancouver. He's a name that's come up. John Ferguson Jr., he helps with the Worcester Club, the Blues Farm Club down there, assistant GM. His name has come up. So there's been a bunch of names that have been swirling around. Doug Wilson, another guy right in the organization there. He's a popular figure out there. So they've got to make that decision soon, because we're talking about Solana here. Wanting to, what are they going to do with Solani? And Solani's got to make a decision. Don't you think he's going to want to know who the general manager of the team is? So they've got to make a decision soon there. And
there's a lot of talk that Darcy Regier is under some problems in Buffalo also. He might be gone.
He might be out of the way too. So I think in Regier's case, though, Bear, it seems like Gary Bettman is kind of going to bat for Darcy Regier a little bit. Like, we ran this club. Darcy was our guy. Just letting you know, he's still under contract to you for a couple more years. You might want to keep him around for a little while.
And I personally believe Darcy Regier has done a great job with that situation, how they handle it. They've drafted well. They've got one of the